Hello, welcome to the James Cooley Show. It's your life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley, and wow, I'm excited about this show today. We got several guests that's going to join us, and what we're going to talk about is skin in the game. And we just had a pre-trade show where I thought the event went extremely well, and now we're getting an opportunity to talk to some of the major players and some of the things that they're doing to help bring this industry together. Also, just share what their companies' philosophies are. And I tell you, regardless where you're watching this show at, whether you're watching it on E360 TV, YouTube, LinkedIn, Facebook, over 25 plus other live streaming networks, you can be part of the conversation by just going to the comments, asking any questions that you might have, and we're going to get back to you promptly with an answer. So I'm excited about this show today, and my main man, Mr. Clement Johnson, he's doing an absolutely fantastic job. We'll bring you on shortly, but I can't do anything without bringing in my absolute fantastic executive producer and co-host, Dr. Michelle Cooley. How are you doing today?
I am doing great. I am doing amazing. Wow. When I look at the biographies of the guests we have today, it's completely over my head. Completely over my head, but it's not over your head somewhat. But I'm really excited about the show. We got so much talent here, so much entrepreneurship, business people, and I'm just really excited.
I like to call them movers and shakers, Michelle.
Mhm.
That's what they are. They're movers and shakers, and these are the folks that make certain things happen in the industry, especially when it comes to OT and cybersecurity, when it comes to new technology, when it comes to a lot of things, when it comes to educating, when it comes to just inspiring, I'm excited about this panel, and I'm excited about getting the show started because I want to learn everything that we can from these great folks. And I tell you what, Michelle, can you introduce the show?
Okay.
The purpose of the show, and can you introduce first of all that great guy named Clement Johnson? So, can you do that?
Yeah, so the title of the show is Skin in the Game Pre-Trade Show presents ClemTech Industrial Network Cybersecurity. So the purpose of the show is getting to know the backgrounds of military veteran and ClemNet founder Clement E. Johnson Jr., president of Tossi Box Inc., William Ben, executive director of community education and workforce development at Mira Costa College, Linda Kurakawa, area sales manager of Southern California, Frank Rizzo, and the founder, chief technology officer of Warner's Wireless Innovations Inc., Gregory Warnes. And we're going to talk about how industrial automation affects businesses and what industry is OT cybersecurity a must. And are there greater concerns for federal and state governments? And how is workforce training for OT security personnel? So, wow. Let's just start with Clement E. Johnson. Clement's company, ClemWork, works with business, federal, states, and local government, specializing in operational technology, networks, cybersecurity, and services. This is the infrastructure that secures our nation's IoT and energy grid. Clement is a thought leader in automated information systems and knowledge management. His company offers operational technology networks built to eliminate global threats. The mission is to help engineers deliver high availability networks, and his products hosted management layer turns operational applications, machines, and their users into a controlled OT network. This enables management and access control to operational systems from a single point. There's so much to talk about this guest today, but we'll let him do the talking. And we welcome back to the show, Clement E. Johnson Jr.
Welcome to the show, Clement.
Clement E. Johnson Jr.
Oh, well, nice to see everyone out there.
Hey, Clement, I think that maybe too many people are too close in there, so we're gonna get some feedback. So maybe it's a television or something, but we got feedback right now. Uh, Clement, how you doing? Uh, I tell you what,
Outstanding.
we're
Well,
gonna.
don't mind. Don't. I hope nobody gets motion sickness. I'll just go away to the side so there's no interference.
Oh yes. Hey man, it's a great show that you guys had today, and I want to
Does
learn.
that improve the sound a little better?
Improve it a little bit, but you're probably gonna have to get out of there. There's too many people in there with the same with that on. But the sound it has improved tremendously. So Clemens, tell us a little bit about ClemNet and how some of the players that are going to be on the show today. Just tell us how all of this works.
Outstanding. Well, again, my company is ClemTech LLC. We've been in business for 13 years, and our primary function is operational technology networks. And within those networks, and we're talking industrial networks, networks such as oil and gas, such as the manufacturing industry. And our charter is to secure those networks through our patented cybersecurity. Which what you'll see on the show today is we have a few of our companies, and then one of our innovative patented technologies that I am also going to introduce. One is our primary company called Tossi Box. And through Tossi Box, we do our wireless connections to operational technology. One of the key points in that network is our company ClemTech LLC uses this network for developing operational technology enterprises. And this is a process that is really tedious in our operational technology arena. With our Tossi Box product, it makes it extremely simple to connect enterprises. We also are connected with our product leader, Eaton, which does our battery technology. And we do battery technology all the way down to a computer level and all the way up to a data center. We also have inside of this segment, we have Mr. Warren, and Dr. Warren has our innovative technology that provides a wireless technology for future of the internet, so we can take internet to low use areas. And then we'll caveat it with MiraCosta College, which helps us to provide personnel within our industry that are trained. And she'll tell you a little bit about that. But Dr. Cooley, I'm really glad that you have given us the opportunity to showcase our technology, and I'll hand it back to you for some questions.
Yes. First of all, can you explain to our viewers and the listeners what's the difference between IT and OT? A lot of people think those two are the same. I know they're similar, but can you explain that to our viewers and our listeners so that they would know what the difference is?
Yes, I'll give a high explanation, and then William Ben, which is our Tossi Box vice president, which is actually on here, he'll give a real down explanation for that. But look at operational technology as machines doing work, and look at information technology as your email and how we're doing networking right now.
Wow. So I want to bring Mr. Ben on right now to talk about Toxic Box a little bit. But first of all, William, can you tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about you and where you're from and where you operate out of?
Hear me. William, call me Bill, sitting today in Atlanta, Georgia, originally from Philly. Also a military vet like many of you, so it's super excellent to be sitting here talking to that community. As we speak, I've got a son who flies C-130s for the U.S. Air Force, who's in Little Rock, Arkansas, training to be an instructor. So we're connected to the community. It's one of the reasons Clem and I do this. That's a little bit about me. I'm an entrepreneur. I operate globally. We've taken this little company, Tossi Box, which I'll tell you about in a minute, to 150 countries now in under 10 years. I could go on and on. I could talk about myself. Well, JC, I wish I was out there in California with you guys. My grandson lives right in LA. I could get to see him, but we're doing it by Zoom or whatever this is, and I'm having fun.
Wow, I tell you, currently we're in Texas, but we split time between Dallas and Temecula, California. So we'll get that opportunity one day. Hey, Wim, can you tell us about Tossi Box? What exactly it is? What do it serves? Just the purpose.
Love it. I'll do that. And let me deepen that question you asked, Clem. What is this IT OT thing? So think about it, everyone. For 30, 40 years, we've all got comfortable with connecting things like email, like you see cameras out there, like our CRM system for business or accounting systems. That's IT. Think about IT as information that runs businesses. It's business information. When we think about the OT, so IT stands for information technology, OT stands for operational technology. That's now connecting, instead of connecting people to people, voice over IP, all that stuff. Now we're connecting people to machines. We're connecting machines to machines. Here we are. We talked a little bit about it earlier, JC, in the beginning of the show. 8 billion people, many of them are connected. Now we're connecting the hundreds of billions of machines. I'm talking cameras, boats at sea, factories, water and wastewater pumping stations, train stations. It's all getting connected, and it's getting connected through automation because, frankly, there's so much to do. We ain't got the people to run it all. So this automation is necessary. Now, if you think about what Tossi Box is and why we've been able to grow to 150 countries in under 10 years, we've taken the best principles from IT companies, great American companies that you all know, Cisco, Palo Alto, Fortinet. For anybody on this call who might be thinking about where they're going to put their time and energy and go to work or whatever, we could talk a little bit more about that. But these are great American companies. They're designed to connect people and email and build and all of that. Now you've got technology Tossi Box, where you've taken the best of those IT brands. We've wrapped our patented automation around it. So now you don't need teams of people, and it connects machines automatically. So we're bringing the other part of the world up, that machine part, without having to have, frankly, the people to do it, because there ain't no people, folks. Everybody's working. Everybody who wants to work is working. So Tossi Box has automated, JC, the IT for the OT. Does that make sense, brother?
That makes perfect sense. And I'll tell you what, we're going to take a station break, but don't go anywhere, because we're going to pick it up, and we got great discussions coming your way. We get this panel right here. I tell you, sit back, grab you 6-7 bags of popcorn, because we're going to bring it. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
I never wanna leave. Yeah, I'm right where I wanna be. We got something you and me, and I can't get rid of this feeling. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Just like a magnet, we're just like a magnet. The things we have can't be taken for granted. Now I know that it has always been you. I can't help it, I'm so drawn to you. Hey, I'm so drawn to you. I'm so drawn to you. Yeah.
Noah Dingley here, producer of The James Cooley Show, It's Your Life. And the new audio version of James' book, Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet, is a must-have. James shares his true life story of struggle and success in America. It's both a cautionary tale and a roadmap to achieving the American dream. Get the new audio version of Country Boy, City Boy, A Journey That Ain't Over Yet by James Cooley on Amazon.com or wherever audiobooks are sold.
Hello. Hey, I'm James Cooley. I am the founder and CEO of the J.C. Cooley Foundation, Options, Opportunities, / Choice Program. Our primary mission is to help build the foundation of our youth and young adults and communities. And we encourage everyone to dream big, think big, and be big at everything you do. And the way that you do that is, first of all, you got to believe in yourself. You have to believe in yourself. You have to know that you are here for a purpose. You also have to be able to step out your comfort zone and do things that you probably didn't think that you can do. Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, just that first segment, I'm just excited. Just chatting with Bill. Got a couple more questions for Bill before we move to the other panel members. So if you want to be part of this conversation, all you have to do is go to the comments, ask any question you want to. Promise you, I get you an answer. Hey, Bill. So you was telling me all the great things that Tossi Box does. Does Tossi Box support a lot of things that they're doing at ClemNet? And if so, can you explain why?
So when you grow a brand, you've got to you got to have some good technology, but it's also important to have good relationships. So we've got teams operating globally, and the only way we've been able to become a globally recognized brand is to go out and find and make an impact on the best systems integrators and partners and managed services providers, like that guy sitting right there. Clem and I met a number of years ago. I'll never forget. He took me to the Ritz-Carlton at Dania Point. That's where I met him. I'm like, oh, this is high cotton right here, man. This is where I like to hang out with Clem. Next thing you know, I find out he's a regular guy just like me, and that whole Ritz was but it was a great day, and we've been partners ever since, man. So Clem does a lot of work for us in the south part of, does two things. ClemNet, LLC, does a lot of work with the water, wastewater, all that stuff in Southern Cal, but also he's our conduit to the U.S. government, DOD, and all that. So it's actually an important member in our global team.
It's you have to have partners and teammates just like that in order to, just like I said, we all in this together.
Yep.
And organizations coming together, that's only going to make the world better. That's going to make our product better. It's going to make our company better. That's going to make us better. So I tell you what, don't go anywhere, Bill, because we're going to come back to you later. But I want to talk to Frank right now. So I want to, first of all, I'm bringing Frank in right now. Frank, how you doing, sir? How you doing? First of all, can you tell us a little bit about you, your company, and et cetera? And I know you're working for Eaton. I'm very familiar with that corporation myself because, believe it or not, I was in DOD, IT, cybersecurity, like that for over 30-something years. So tell us a little bit about Eaton and some of the products that you guys do.
Certainly, JC. Hey, thank you so much for having me on today. Really excited about this opportunity. Sit around, talk, tell you a little bit about Eaton, where we're at, where we're going, but also talk about Clem too. Clem's got a great organization that we support. So let me take a step back, tell you a little bit about Eaton. I always like to say we're a small mom and pop company. We started about 100 years ago in the automotive industry, 23 billion in revenue now. And I actually, about 100,000 employees worldwide, 7 different design centers throughout the world. Really the area that I fall into is in the electrical industry and the distributed IT, critical power backup. So I really work in regards to UPSs, uninterruptible power supplies, power conditioning, the stuff that it takes to keep a network up and running. But also we have a lot of security on that side as well that we bring into that. So drive into the UPS, the rack, the PDUs, all of the components within the network to support people. We're also the #1 manufacturer of 3-phase UPSs worldwide. So we're really a big engineering company, and we take the engineering and drive it all the way across the product lines.
Wow. Yeah. So can you tell us how you can support ClemNet LLC?
So Clem out here has a lot of contacts and a lot of businesses that he works with. And what my role is to work with Clem and the team out here and really help them to build into their product portfolio critical power and critical power backup. So as we talk of, IT, OT, what's the one thing that makes all this stuff run? Electricity. We need to have that backed up. But all this equipment can be affected by so many different other things that could, a power outage can bring your equipment down. A power spike can actually bring your equipment down. Under voltage will change your equipment, shorten the lifespan. Harmonic distortions can throw things way out of whack. Our UPSs, we can define the environment it's going into, help those things out, clean up the power, and keep things running. Now, a UPS isn't used for long running, like 6-8 hours. That's what you have a generator for. But we fit in that gap to keep the equipment up and running during a power outage, as well as cleaning that up and then helping build everything out.
Wow. And tell us about Eaton, latest, most innovative products or productivity that's coming out there.
So I got a couple of different things that I love to talk about Eaton, and one of is our software. I mean, we go all the way back to when I joined Eaton, probably 12, 13 years ago. We were cutting edge with our software for power management in the IT environment. First ones to integrate with VMware, to do sophisticated load sheddings, to keep data centers up, moving data centers automatically with software, with VMware, so that they would stay up. We continue to be cutting edge there. IoT came out, the Internet of Things, everything is out there on the edge, yet it has to be managed and monitored. So our softwares, we get a number of different platforms now that are monitoring out there. So if there's a power anomaly, the people can respond to it. The IT department can respond to it without having to roll a truck. We also have a very sophisticated algorithms for our really large UPSs where they check back in every 15 minutes, one-way communication, so it's completely secure. And we actually are monitoring that so that we can tell somebody predictively if something's going to go wrong. And we can roll a truck for them and be out there and fix it before it comes down. So those things are really cool, cutting edge on the software side. But I think that what's even more exciting, and this is what's coming and what's starting now, is the energy aware UPS. Out here in California, we talk about how everybody in their house has solar, they're selling electricity back to the grid. Well, wouldn't it be nice to have a UPS with these giant batteries that isn't needed at night? And so it's selling the power back to the electric companies. Well, guess what? That's where we're at. With our energy aware UPSs, these are the large units, the 100 kVA, the megawatt units that people are using. And that is bringing bringing the power back to the grid. So it's also a green way to go too.
Wow, and you're absolutely right, because saving energy also going to save people money. It's going to kind of place us within the green area where we're saving power, and we are able to use that power in other things. So tell you what, I'm gonna push you to the side for a second, but I'll come back to you later. I want to talk to Mr. Greg Warren. And so, Greg, how are you doing, sir? How you doing?
I'm doing excellent. Thank you for having us on today.
Man, this is exciting, man. I tell you, Joe, we got started with just like I said with the event this morning, and just to have you all on to talk about the individual pieces are things that you and your company and how we are doing things together to help make this world a lot better. Can you please tell our viewers and our listeners a little bit about you, a little bit about your company, and we'll go from there.
Okay, well, I'm the founder and chief technology officer of Warren's Wireless Innovations, and our goal, our change the world goal, is to make sure that everybody on planet Earth has access to fast internet. And to do that, I've invented a new technology for encoding wireless signals that basically turbocharges the power of an internet link, or a wireless data link. And we're currently working to get this into products so that we can get it out for people to use, whether they're using it for industrial applications like these folks have been talking about, or whether we're using this to deliver internet to poor communities in Africa or in Appalachia or in Asia.
Wow, internet wireless communication, that's the way of the world. So do you, your organization, utilize fiber, or what type of carrier that you utilize to be able to get this wireless technology out to other customers that you're using?
Well, the technology itself is very flexible. It can be used with any backbone, but we're focused right now on wireless data links because that lets us span the distances. The primary problem with getting internet between point A and point B is that to do it fast right now, you need wires, whether they're fiber or cable TV cables, and those wires are expensive to lay, particularly in areas where things are far apart. So if you live in downtown Manhattan, running the wires are relatively cheap because there's 10,000 people per block, and so it's cheap if you have to run the wires across a block. However, if you get out into areas where there are 4 and 5 houses per mile, at the cost of $25,000 per mile to lay a cable, when you divide that by 4 rather than by 10,000, it becomes prohibitively expensive to bring fast internet connections to those areas. So we're focused on the wireless, where you can set up a communications tower, and because our technology lets you get 10 times the range and 20 times the data throughput, then we can actually get a fast connection, a fiber gigabit quality connection out to people without actually running the wires.
Wow. So can you explain to our listeners and viewers how is your product, your company, or supporting ClemNet LLC?
Well, basically we're building components that you can use to take these industrial networks and to extend the range of the wireless communications links. Or to extend them into environments where it's otherwise too electrically noisy to do the communications. So if you think about standing in a crowded room, you can easily whisper to the person sitting next to you, but it's hard if at a whisper to talk to the person across the other side of the room. And if the room is big enough and there are people in the room, then even if you shout, you can't be heard because there's just too many people between here and there and too many different conversations going on. Basically, what we basically allow you to do is to focus your voice like using an old-fashioned, before they had megaphones, remember they had the big cones? To let you, you probably got one of these cones and just used it to focus your voice in one spot. That basically you can focus your voice to that one person across the crowded room. And so even if you're in a big factory and there's lots of machines and they're making lots of different kinds of noise, electrical noise, radio frequency noise, we can still get that signal over a longer distance than you can if you just try without that tool.
Wow. It seems like everybody's doing some great things. And I want to talk a little bit more about all of these things. But right now, we got to take a station break. But when we come back, we're going to pick it up with you again. And then we're going to go to Mrs. Linda. I tell you, you want to be part of this conversation? All you have to do is go to the comments and just ask any question you like. And I promise to get you on the screen. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. We'll be back shortly after the break.
Really get a chance to know who you are. And once you know who you are, you truly know who you are, love who you are. Love who you are. You're a masterpiece. Love who you are. Love who you were born to be. Love me some me. That's what I'm talking about. When you leave high school, you gotta know today or tomorrow, hopefully today, what your plans are. Hopefully, there is no bad decision unless there is no plan. Create, collaborate, commit with confidence. Commit with what? Commit with what? In everything that you do.
Fight again. And if you want my opinion, I let it take me away. Only relief is the four on the floor and the crowd that goes, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up, oh, turn it up, turn it up, turn it up.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and I tell you, we're just having so much fun getting educated from all of these great folks here. I mean, when I say movers and shakers, that's what I mean. I mean, in the industry, you have to be a mover or a shaker, otherwise you stand still. Technology will pass by you, and you're not going to be innovative toward anything. But you see that all of these great panel members right now are doing great things, and we all have to be able to bring all of our talents together, put it together to help solve solutions and problems to our world, because our world is changing all the time. So we'll want to pick it back up with you again, Greg, and then I'm going to Linda. So can you explain what products, some of the main products that your organization is bringing? I know you got a couple of new products that you just invented and that you're putting out there. Can you tell our viewers and listeners how is this going to potentially change the world?
Well, the initial product that we're coming out with is a point-to-point networking device, which to bump it down to common language is basically if you want to be able to take a data link, and instead of running a cable between point A and point B, we can provide a radio that will make that connection for you. And the reason this is important is there's lots of situations where you can't afford to run a cable. So situations like if you need to get a data connection across a crowded warehouse and you can't run the cable, or if you need to be able to bring internet signal between a base station and a tower so that you can spread it out for a community. Or one of the cases that we're working with right now is looking at helping you bring internet to communities in Africa where it's simply not economical to run a cable for the 100 miles between a major city and an outlying village. Instead, we can stand up a tower, connect our device to it, point that tower downstream, and yeah, we can't run the whole 100 miles in a single run just because the Earth curves and you can't penetrate through the crust of the earth very well. But you can run a couple of towers. So instead of spending a couple $100,000 to run that cable the 100 miles, you can for something like $20,000 or $30,000 run a series of internet wireless links, so you can get that data at high speed out to those areas. And one of the things that's novel about our technology is we can use low frequencies that have both really good range and really good ability to penetrate objects like trees, like buildings, etc. As you're probably aware, if you want to use your cell phone, you want to use 5G, you're going to have to sit next to the window. If you sit in the interior of a building, for instance, if you go to the hospital and go into one of the ER rooms, your cell phone is not going to get 5G signals because those signals can't penetrate the walls. So they're using a high frequency. High frequency is great because you can get a lot of data through. The disadvantage is that it doesn't go through objects very well. And it doesn't go through things like rain very well. Whereas the low frequencies, they can get really long range, but they tend not to be able to push much data through. Our technology lets you push a lot of data through the low frequencies, so you get a longer range. And so you can get signals where you otherwise can't get them.
Wow, and you are absolutely right, and that's another topic to also educate our public on the differences between the frequency ranges and the do's and the don'ts. A lot of people don't know anything about them. So we've been discussing all of this great technology because it's a lot of it out there, and each one of these folks they got great things going on. But in order to get people to work and get them trained, we have to be able to educate them as well. If we can't educate them, if we can't get them trained, none of this technology means nothing. So therefore, our next guest is going to tell us a little bit about the education portion of these things, and a lot of things that she is doing at her college, and how we go about making people smarter, getting them educated so that they can work on these new technologies that the world has. So without any further delay, I want to bring Linda. How are you doing, Linda? How are you doing today?
I am great, Dr. Cooley. Thanks for having me on your show.
Absolute pleasure. Absolute pleasure. So can you tell our listeners and our viewers a little bit about you at college and some of the things that you all are doing to train and educate our public so that they can operate some of this high fancy innovative technology that's coming about?
Well, just like you said earlier, the world is changing really rapidly, and it's been a tough transition for colleges to understand that the world needs a different kind of educational system and to keep up. We get calls all the time from our industry, our local industry, whether it's biomedical, whether it's manufacturing, IT. Please send us people who have skills, not just knowledge. And so we've had for so long in the United States a university for all mentality. And the challenge with that is that if you get too many people going through university, two things happen. You get people with academic degrees that may not have the skills that go with those degrees. And second, we're telling a vast majority of our population that they're undervalued because they didn't get a college degree. And yet there's millions of jobs out there for people who have good skills. So MiraCosta College has done a lot to think about the future and to think about what we need. And we created the Technology Career Institute to answer the question of how to train people rapidly with state-of-the-art skills that will be relevant to industry's needs right now and for jobs that don't even exist yet. And so that's what we're doing there. We have accelerated programs, and I mean accelerated, one semester where they go 25 to 40 hours of training a week. It's 70% hands-on. And we have training in areas such as engineering technician, biomedical equipment technician, machining, welding, RV and drone technology, brew tech, and blueprint reading, and phlebotomy, and all of those types of programs where skills are so important. And so that's what we're doing over there. And I'm the executive director.
Wow. So as you see that the gentleman here is really technical and
Yep.
etc. Especially when it comes to cybersecurity, information security, information technology, and OT. What are some of the programs that you have at MiraCosta that are supporting these industries right now? And is it difficult for the students to get into these programs because of maybe costs, maybe lack of skill set? Can you talk to us a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, see, the programs at the Technology Career Institute, or TCI as we call it, are geared for the person who may not have any skills, or who might have a master's degree but don't have the hands-on. So we contextualize, which means we tailor it to the specific individual. And we have programs, for example, our engineering technician program teaches them both PLC programming, and it also teaches them how to use robots that are collaborative, that use more PC operated or iPad operated, don't need programming. So we run the gamut there. We also run accelerated boot camps with IT and data and big data, and just teaching students what they need quickly to start out. I kind of liken it to two boxes of Legos. You can hire the individual who makes one thing. There's gray and white Legos, and it makes a spaceship. And you get that person, and they can make that spaceship. Or you get a box with a whole bunch of shapes and a whole bunch of colors, and those represent all the skill sets that person has. And they may not have a lot of any one skill set, but you can mold them into exactly the employee that you need at the technician level. And you need loads of those people. And so it's our industry partners who are hiring these students that come out of these programs are loving them, because they can both mold them, and they've got hands-on skills, and they're ready to work. So this has been a great thing, and a huge employment, a boon for our local partners.
Wow. I tell you what, we're going to take a station break. We're going to come back. Linda, you ain't going nowhere. We're coming back because, we're going to talk a little bit about how your programs are funded and et cetera. And then I want to bring everybody back. So I tell you, you want to be part of this, just go to the comments, ask the question. I promise you, I'll make sure we get it up there. We'll be back shortly at the break with the whole panel. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley. See you shortly.
We are not a charity. We are veterans. We are warriors, brothers, and sisters. We don't need, we deliver. OpsForVets.com. Handshakes, not handouts.
I'm Albert Rencheria, Marine Chief Warrant Officer 4 retired, Ops for Vets CEO. I invite you to take a look at our organization. You'll quickly understand why out of thousands of groups currently serving our veterans, we have become the most rapidly growing and opportunity-rich team in the market. We have deployed dynamic distributors who are responsible for servicing and growing their regions, East, Central, and West. We provide a complete roster of high-caliber services, produced to create the results you require. Find us on the web at www.opsforvets.com. Handshakes, not handouts.
Hello, welcome back to the James Cooley Show. It's your life, and just I tell you, just getting this education from all these total professionals in their career areas, and you see how all of the pieces come together because you need the technology, you need the wireless communication, you need all of the great things, but most importantly, you need the education in order to be able to fully put these functionalities to work. And that's why all of this is important. So Linda, I want to pick it back up with you again because your school is providing a lot of this technology and teaching a lot of this technology, a lot of these trainings. How do you go about getting funding for your programs?
Yeah, well, my department is called Community Ed and Workforce Development, and by California State Education Code, we are self-funded. So we are the only department at Miracosta Community College that is self-funded. Well, that means that, and yet we're trying to do the most expensive type of training you can possibly do for, educating and training somebody. So it needs a lot of money, and I'm not allowed to use state tax dollars or general funds. So we would normally charge high tuitions in order to cover, but I do not believe that's a good way to go to let everyone come. So I've spent the last 8 to 9 years writing a lot of federal, state, and local grants, and have brought in about 15 million in grant funds that keep our tuitions extremely low. We have industry partners that also provide some scholarship funds. So literally, if somebody were to walk in the door and say, I have no money to attend these trainings, we can find funding for them.
Wow. And that's good to know. And I hope you're listening out there, especially if you're in the San Diego area. Yeah, you can be part of this a great university. Hey, Clement, I want to bring it back to you and all of y'all because we sit back and I just heard all of this fantastic information. Now we had to tie it together, put all the pieces together so we can make, I call it finishing up the puzzle, and also creating new puzzles because we want to continue to add on. So I think the goal is to global, not just United States. Clem, what are your thoughts on how you bring all of these things together, all these great folks that you got here, the bits and pieces that they are doing, where we can just take this around the world and help other countries out, and also be profitable in the companies that these guys are doing as well. Can you talk about that a little bit? Hey, Clem, I think you're on mute.
Yes, I can, and it's a natural integration. The network. The network is a large piece, and the security on that network is paramount. There are requirements, especially when you go into DoD or you go into industries like oil and gas, where cybersecurity is paramount. When we're talking OT networks, operational technology, that's what OT stands for. Operational technology networks have to be up 100% of the time. And this is where the battery backup comes in. And this is why we need Eaton compiled into what we do. So when we go to our customers and we take our networks in which they need in order to stay up 100% of the time, we provide them that dedicated network. Now we're providing them that network that is a higher level of cybersecurity, and with Eaton, that network can be up even when the power is down. And we want to go into other regions. It's great to say that you want to do manufacturing. You want to monitor your oil and gas, or even the farming industry. You want to take new technologies to those industries. But a lot of those industries are connected. And those connected industries are doing fine, and their customers also, but in low disparaged areas, such as in the continent of Africa, where the opportunity is there and the know-how is there, but you may not have the the technology in order to push it forward. You may not have the internet in order to do continuous monitoring. So it helps you to not be able to get in the industry. We compile all that together into one product, which is ClemNet, and ClemNet is ClemTech LLC. But as you said, Dr. Cooley, one of the most important parts is how do you make it work? You need people, you need personnel. We're providing products and services, but people and personnel are what runs that. And we need a steady pipeline of that. And
we need we need a steady pipeline of that. And I tell you, during the green room before we started, Bill had said something and about we probably need to get the word out that we are hiring and we are doing all these great things. Bill, can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, there's all these fabulous little known industries out there that might not seem as sexy as the industries we're all familiar with. For instance, I forget the number, somewhere in the 15 to 20, 25% range of all energy burned in the world is from buildings. And this little known industry called building automation, it's got AI and machine learning and all the cool stuff everybody wants to touch in this little known industry called building automation. So if you're out there wondering what you or your children or anybody else, where to send them, if you're mentoring someone, send them to building automation. These distributors and integrators and so forth will take people off the street, they'll take military vets, and they'll train them in what I view as a fabulous and growing industry. Just one example, Dr. Cooley, of some of those places to look for opportunities.
Dr. Gregory, what are your thoughts on that? Dr. Gregory.
Sorry, yes. Well, all of the most interesting jobs are at the intersections of different industries. So as Bill was pointing out, AI is interesting, but AI is a lot more interesting if you're solving a real world problem, like how do I use AI to make, for instance, the window shades on this building tilt at the right angle so that it heats up in the winter but cools off in the summer. There are all sorts of interesting little niche markets. One of the things that I'm really fond of is the idea of internships. One of the things I think is a great idea that Google does is they do something called the Google Summer of Code, where they basically sponsor a student for the summer to work on an open source project. I think it's the greatest pre-interview program they've ever invented, but it also helps the community. I think that we need to see more of these kinds of programs where we don't say, hey, give me some money and then I'll show you, then I'll train you. Instead, we say, hey, I've got a great opportunity. I'm going to pay you a small amount of money. It's a small amount of money for the company. It can be a large amount for the individual, but a small amount for the company to actually go and do this for a couple of months. That is two things. One, that lets us see if you're good at it. Two, that lets you see if you like it. And if you like it, and if you're good at it, then we'll probably want to hire you. And if we don't want to hire you, somebody else is going to want to hire you. But it flips the usual problem on the head. One of the problems about trying to start up a small company is you go to somewhere to get help. The first thing they want to do, and they want you to pay to get the help. In a company like where I'm at, we're in a chicken and egg problem. We need some money to get our product on the market, but everybody we talk to wants money to help us get a product on the market. And so we end up in that chicken and egg. But if we can reverse that process and say, hey, here's a small amount of money. I'm going to give you the small amount of money. It's only for a couple of months. Go try being a technology installer for the security networks. If you like it and you're good at it and you've got good personality, then we have just for a small amount of money demonstrated that you're good at this and you like it. If you're not good at it, or you don't like it, or you don't like working the outdoors, or that's you're just not interested in it, then great. You put in a little work for a couple of months. Go find something else you do like, and we'll find somebody else that likes it better. But I think that we sort of reverse the process. Instead of walking up to somebody and saying, give me some money and I'll train you, we instead say, here's a small amount of money. Let's get to some initial work. We'll see what you like. I think that approach can really shot put a lot of things into motion that otherwise just won't get going.
Wow. We're down to the last couple minutes of the show, but I want real quickly, Frank, I want your thoughts on that 30 seconds or less, and yours as well. So let's go with Frank first.
Well, I thought it was really exciting to hear what Linda's organization is doing. Being a large manufacturing company, I mean, we have people all the way from the shop floor, all the way up through management, design, cutting edge technologies. So really to see how she is taking these students and getting them into the workforce so quickly, but they're up and running with hands-on skills. They've been touching it. They've got 600 hours of work behind them. She's got a program out there that's just as good as an internship program somewhere, or even, and these are for the kids in school as well that didn't want to go to college, didn't have that direction, or not everybody needs to be going to college. We have a big gap in there that Linda's group is really filling here in San Diego County.
Wow. And then, Linda, you got the last word. You got about 20 seconds.
Yeah, internships are key. And we have a $3.5 million grant from our local assemblywoman to provide paid internships. So Gregory's right. This is a way to get somebody right into a live interview and get them skills. Yeah, it's a great way to go.
Wow, this has been so much fun. We got to do this again. I tell you what, I had a whole lot of fun. I want to thank our panel. I want to thank Mr. ClemNet, Clement Johnson. I want to thank this whole panel. Most importantly, I'd like to thank our viewers and our listeners for tuning in to the James Cooley Show. Always dream big, think big, and be big. We'll be back tomorrow, same time, same place. It's Your Life. I'm Dr. James J.C. Cooley.